Hoy. Okay, the questions are kind of related to the contact questions. This in the same sort of way as like when I ask you a question, and I'll kind of keep guiding it and leading you through it, but like definitely looking for a whole response, like versus just a normal way of thinking with words, spitting out. Kind of check in with your whole self.
Okay.
Looking for, how did you experience the instruction to allow? Like if you go back to that moment, is there anything you remember about your felt reaction, including thoughts and
To allow.
yeah.
Can you remind me a little bit more of that
Yeah.
instruction?
Like we were at this point in the class and it was to let your body, like if you just like lean forward, you allow yourself to lean forward.
Okay, gotcha.
But if you don't remember...
Yeah. No, I do. So the question is, how do I...
Like when you heard that instruction, how did it strike you, you know?
Well, I it's something that I think I understood. I understood what you meant, and I don't think I had any trouble following that instruction, because that's something that while I meditate, I think that's something that I try to put into practice. I try to allow my body to do whatever it has to do. So within the class, during the body movement class, I don't know how to explain it, but it's just an awareness, an awareness of, it's an awareness of what you feel, like, what your body feels. So just trying to play with that awareness, trying to, I don't know if to call it, like, let your body express itself. But yeah, I think it's just not just letting your body do whatever it has to do. So I mean, it felt like an instruction that kind of like made sense, So like I had to had trouble understanding what it meant, because that's something that I've done before.
Oh, and then can you describe something about the relationship between your point of sensation and the simultaneous allowing?
I cannot remember, or I do not know, like, what's the connection there. I was trying to, I do remember, like, while I was moving, I was trying to focus on that point of sensation. And I mean, I don't know how much of the movement that I did had to do with that, that focusing.
It's almost like, I guess I could ask it in this way. Because, right, the things that I am often talking about, both in a class and now even interviewing about, are these really vague sensations, of like, almost like this example of like, if I ask you to put your hand on yourself, your hand will go somewhere, and it's almost like there's just like this particular sort of magnetization towards one area, and maybe it's habituation. Like the reason why that happens, I don't know, but it goes somewhere. It doesn't go just anywhere.
Yeah.
And so it's like the question is just to explore. There doesn't have to be a felt connection. There's no particular reason. It's just wondering, like, yeah, did you feel any relationship between this point and the allowing and you know?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I do wonder, like, but I mean, consciously I didn't feel any connection.
Yeah, cool.
But I do wonder, like, how much of how I move, had to do with if I would focus somewhere else, would I have moved in the same way?
Totally.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know for certain.
And then describing something about your point or points of sensation. Describing how they felt in the beginning.
Versus the end, like, to make a comparison.
Yeah, or moments where it shifted, because it did, either at the end or anywhere else.
I cannot remember of a change. I do remember that, my point of sensation was the mouth of my stomach. And there's always like a sensation there. There's always like a something there.
Can you describe the something?
It's just like knowing that there's something.
Okay.
It doesn't have a particular, it's not like such a strong feeling. But it just kind of like having something there, like a presence of some sort. But I don't know. I don't think it changed. I don't think it. Well, I mean, something that did change, or something that I noticed, is that sensation of openness. That I did experience that as I was moving, and I was getting more into the movement, or I was sort of like.
Can you describe what it means to get more into the movement?
I was gonna use the word. When you jump into the water and when you're sinking more into what you're doing, the movements. I guess it's like thinking less about it and just sort of like moving more naturally, or feeling that things are flowing more. That's what I call with getting more into the movement. Like.
Does that?
Maybe like being less self-aware. That doesn't go away.
Yeah, no, I'm wondering how it feels though. I'm familiar with the experience. I'm wondering how it feels. Like, how do you know you're more in a flow?
I think it's when you are consciously pushing less and you are being pulled. I think that's how I would describe it. It just, and it's not like you're pushing 100%, but let's say at the beginning you're pushing 20%, 30%, whatever, and then as you get more into it, you're pushing 10%, 8%, and so on.
Okay.
So it feels like you're not doing the work.
Yeah.
It feels like you're floating along, with whatever is pulling you. But as that sensation developed or grew, I guess parallel to it. I don't know if it was cause, effect, or just the two things happen at the same time. It was this sensation of opening, and I described this a little bit in a preview interview related to meditation sessions. How that inner space growth. Yeah, I did experience a little bit of that.
And did it shift the point of the mouth of your stomach?
But you mean shifting, like if it moved somewhere else, or if it made a
like
difference?
change the sensation,
I can't remember.
Okay.
I don't think so. I mean, I do remember that night I was, and this might not be related, but I was feeling very angry, And during the movement and while I was getting more into it, that sensation of anger kind of like went away. And then at the end, when everything stopped, the sensation kind of like came back. But related to the point of sensation that I chose, I can't remember if if there was a shift. I cannot remember. I would say that no. If there was a shift, I didn't notice.
Okay, cool. Okay, once you came into contact with another, what did you experience in terms of the sensations?
I think there was always a moment that you become self-aware and conscious, and that sensation of free-flowing slightly goes away. And then I think...
Do you remember, so the way that I remember giving the instruction was to take a moment and know that this is going to be coming. Like, hear that will happen soon in the future. To come into contact with somebody. Did it shift then, or did it, like, what was the difference between hearing the instruction and then coming towards somebody?
I don't know how to... I cannot remember that instruction. So even at that point, I don't know if I was just sort of like in my own head or what, but I cannot remember hearing it, I don't have any recollection of moving towards a person and just being aware of that instruction, So maybe I just simply didn't hear it because I was just somewhere else. But yeah, there was a moment of just sort of like, there's someone next to me, and the sensation of breaking the free flow, being aware, and then seconds later, maybe going back to the free flow. Maybe it wasn't the same as it was before getting close to someone, but I think it definitely it just like you become aware, and then again you go back into that.
And when you're in this state of free flow, either by yourself or with another, were you still able to observe yourself?
It would, yeah. I mean, yeah. Yeah, you don't like lose yourself 100%, but I don't know. It kind of like you care less, or there's less. It has less strength that looking at yourself. I don't know how to describe it, because at the beginning, that looking at myself, there is there's a thing of judging,
Okay.
or of thinking about yourself, and I think there's an implication there of controlling your own body, not letting it go, or of a sensation of like how you're looked from the outside, but then as time progresses, those feelings gonna go away. Yeah, I think what I'm saying is like that looking into myself, it's associated with kind of like being afraid of how people see you, or kind of like just self-awareness and being worried, or and then it goes away.
So I'm wondering, That what you're saying there makes sense to me, and then I'm wondering a little bit, maybe more nuanced or something into this. You know how you can go into a mind wander state and not be concerned for anything, and you could go, drawing or painting or any kind of thing. You're just doing. You're just allowing this. And in this, starting from this instruction to stay, to keep watching yourself, to not watch yourself. Did you feel like you were able to maintain some element of that? Even, like when you say the judgment went away, it was like, did the observation of yourself leave with the judgments, or did it shift to being able to watch more neutrally? Is that a way?
I think there was a neutrality there. You never stop watching yourself. You're always aware. But I think it comes with less judgments.
Okay.
So at any particular time when you are flowing, or when you're moving and you are really into it, you are aware of what you're doing, But there's less comments from your own mind. Yeah, it shows more awareness.
And then, can you describe anything? I'm wondering if the eye-opening moment did that have a strong shift in anything happening?
You mean within the what? Within the shift within, like in general? What do you mean?
Yeah, in either this point that you were observing, or if you were, as I understand, kind of observing your closely.
I cannot remember.
Okay.
No, I think, like I said, the only shift that I had is in that I was feeling like angry that day, and then it just went away.
At some point.
At some point, yeah, while I was moving. But no, I do not remember any other shift. I didn't feel any other shift.
Well, even when you were talking about coming into contact, you were describing even a momentary shift and then a shift back.
Yeah.
So I'm sort of wondering, like, in terms of just real subtle shifts, not like... kind of looking for maybe almost boring details,
Okay. I mean, I had different moments where I would just completely lost the focus with the point of sensation. Yeah. Even if I was by myself, in a corner, I would just like suddenly came back to reality and start thinking about my day. And then I kind of like try to clean those thoughts and just continue moving.
Cool. Okay. So if you, like, just taking 1 second to go back and I'm asking this again because observationally and experientially, like watching y'all and also having my own experience in this, it looks strong. It feels strong. It has felt strong for me. Of when one goes to open their eyes. If you can remember any point of doing that, like maybe even percentage-wise, like how fast or how much did that shift and then shift back for you?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
So, like if you take a second, can you remember any moment where you opened your eyes? Like,
yes, I remember one particular moment, and it's very vivid. When I was getting closer to there was a moment where the three of you were moving together, and I think at that point I was also joining in, and in that moment it was like this awareness of, you know, all of you there, and I kind of like had to open my eyes to see what's happening, you know. But that is like a very vivid memory, and that's interesting, I think, because there were a lot of moments that you don't remember. But it's just that transition from being by myself to suddenly feeling the group that was moving. Yeah.
And so you felt us and were aware of us before you opened your eyes.
Hmm?
As I understand what you said, you felt us and were aware of us before you opened your eyes.
I think so. Maybe someone touched me, and yeah, or just sort of like. I don't remember exactly what was the particular order, but you know, maybe like in one of the movements there was some physical contact, and in that moment it was just sort of like, oh, there's people around me, you know, and sort of like opening just to see what's happening, and then closing them again and trying to go back.
Okay, so here's I don't know if you remember this or not, and either way it's okay. The instructions were towards opening your eyes, to keep them open.
Oh, to keep them open.
And it was something that I noticed, which is something that happens often in this particular kind of thing, where people go back to closing their eyes. And so as I was instructing, I was giving information, I kept looking and seeing whenever I saw eyes shut, I would instruct again to move towards opening your eyes. And so there was a point, I mean, I remember watching you. Sometimes you had your eyes open, sometimes not. Same with the others. So, from whatever you remember, because it's like I can almost assume that you would not notice as much if you shut your eyes versus opening them.
Yeah.
So, any moment of opening your eyes, like the one you just described, I'm wondering what happened inside, like in relation to what sensations you were feeling when you opened your eyes. Did any of the sensations shift? Could you still have a connection with feeling the internal while your eyes were open?
I think, wait a minute, while my eyes are open, I'm trying to remember. I think I had different kind of moments. I have different, like I remember there were moments where I had my eyes open that I would lose the connection, you know?
Yeah.
And there were moments where I think I went to closing my eyes all the time.
When you lost the connection, how did you re-find it?
I would close my eyes and just start thinking about to help me focus.
Was there any time where you were able to keep your eyes open and feel the
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There, perhaps I cannot remember how much I had like my eyes open, but I'm sure that there were moments where I had my eyes open and I would feel that connection, you know, and be doing like what I call, you know, the free flowing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so for me, this is maybe kind of very directing information, but anyway, for me, what I experience is along the lines of if I'm not staying aware of myself, if I don't give myself a task of observing the internal felt, it is far more likely that I get lost in critique, self-critique, or wondering thoughts like, what does the other person want me to do? And if I stay with the percentage of focus mostly on myself, on my internal, then I experience more flexibility in terms of allowance. And so I'm wondering about what you're able to be aware of, like this eye opening when one opens their eyes, is, as you were describing, at some point being able to maintain a sense of your internal, and then when you were with another, in contact with another, as I understood, you were able to find some of that free flow again. And so within that, another direction of the question is, did you sense any information in relation to that other person?
Wow. Sorry, Irene. I think it was kind of like a long question.
Yeah. No. It's not your fault. It was. I thought it was too long. 2 parts. So like, there's
Okay.
one part of that happening. What did you feel when you? Did you sense any information about the other while you were with them?
If I felt or sense, you said?
Yeah, either one.
Like information?
Yeah, for example, in the beginning?
Maybe, I mean, doesn't hit?
Yeah,
like feeling
absolutely,
body heat?
for sure.
Yeah. Something feeling like this, kind of like, and not for everyone, just for one person, I think. Kind of like feeling this heat wave.
And then, in the allowance of you being able to move, you being in your free flow, and the others in the same time, ostensibly doing this, there were times you were with people and then you were away from people. And I'm wondering about the how did you know when to leave someone, or how did you know how to go near someone? What were the sensations relating to now you're connected?
I think I remember the instructions at that moment saying like with 10% of yourself, push yourself to sort of like move towards someone. So I think that was, like I tried to use that to get close to the group. I do not remember how did I decided to move away from someone or from the group. I cannot remember.
Or maybe another way to ask it. So it's like this idea of this instruction of coming into contact, and it could be, and it was listed either visually or in whatever sense you felt you were coming into contact with this person. Did not need to be physical touch. For you, how did you know that you were in contact with someone?
How did I know? I'm not sure. I mean, sometimes I knew it, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was just changes in the light, because the body will make a shadow, or the air will change. I'm not really 100% sure, think it's mostly like a temperature thing, you know, like. I don't know exactly what I felt when I felt. Because that's basically the question, right? Like, I don't know, what was it? You know, when you feel someone next to you. I do remember like in moments like feeling the temperature of the person, but I don't know what else. If there was anything else, you know.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
And then, sort of the same question, how did you know you were not in contact anymore?
I think everything around me was more or less uniform, you know, like the sensation that I have around me were pretty uniform. Like there wasn't that much difference between what's happening here and what's happening here. I think that could be it. You know.
Okay.
That's not something that in the moment I was like super aware. Like I don't know how to turn that into specific words. Because it's a feeling. It's a sensation, I guess. But I don't know.
And when you were coming into contact with another, you felt a shift in this area around you?
Maybe, yeah. Yeah. You notice the difference between how it feels in front of you and how it feels behind you, you know. But it's just purely physical, you know, like, I don't know, temperature or... I don't know, it's just like... I cannot go beyond the word, just using the word sensation. It's just a sensation, you know, I don't know what is it about the sensation.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And then maybe like the last question is, it's sort of a repeating question. Trying to dig in a little bit deeper to it. When you did you feel connected? There's these two words, and I was using them a bit interchangeably, contact and connect. So to define them for right now, saying coming into contact being I am in some way contacting another person, which from myself, I'm reaching out and I'm touching this lamp, versus this lamp coming towards me and touching me, or coming into contact with me. And whereas for just now, this idea of connection being a sort of meeting, and it could even be that physically you travel over there and touch them, say, but they're meeting you in some sense.
Yeah.
Did you have any moment where you felt connected to anyone?
Let's see. No, I think I didn't. But I think I didn't have any... I'm trying to remember that moment at the end when I joined in the group. How was it? Because it did feel like... It did feel like we were moving... It did feel like I was part of a group. And I guess that's the definition of feeling connected. But at the same time, I don't know if I felt connected or not. I'm not sure.
And then in relation to one of the things that I remember you saying that day, or along the lines of, I remember after the class you were talking about it being enjoyable to dance with Eleanor. Can you remember anything about that? Why?
I don't remember saying that. Did I say that? Really?
That's all.
I'm just curious. I don't remember anything in particular.
Uh-huh. Cool.
I don't remember saying that. I remember saying that I like her, her kind of like her energy, but not in the context of dancing, but just like how she was
in the class.
in life.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I mean, I could be wrong.
Yeah,
I just...
but I'm also curious. Maybe I said it and I can't remember. But no, I don't have any particular experience with Eleanor that made me say like, oh, yeah, I really like.
Yeah, and no moment. Just same question of like just taking a moment and remembering. Was there any moment where no pressure to feel this? Just if it happened that you felt connected to anyone.
No,
Cool.
not particularly. No. I don't remember feeling that at any moment.
Cool. That's all that I have.
Cool.
If there's anything else like that you wanna add.
Yeah, I just remember. I do remember this. Might be important or not. I think it's interesting. Like when I choose this area, the mouth of my stomach, right, to sort of like focus on my point of sensation. And I remember in different moments while I was moving, there was this urge to kind of like express something through my mouth, and there was like a lot of noises coming out, kind of like, but nothing ever. I don't know if something should come out or not, but that happened a couple of times. And I remember like in different moments, I would get close to a wall and just push against the wall, and that sensation of trying to vocalize something will come out.
When you were pushing against it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I had to add.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that moment in the class.
You were like, wow, that guy's going crazy.
Nah,
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But it's something interesting because that has happened in different moments, doing different things, like doing EMDR. I think was smoking weed too by myself. So I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. It's like a very kind of like like a very primitive sound coming out, like from very deep. Yeah.
Does it feel different when you allow it? I mean, okay, so from that experience, when you're at the wall and you're making these sounds versus, it's like, does that come up when you're in Vipassana? When you're being quiet, when you're being in the same position? Does that come up?
Doing Vipassana meditation? I don't think so. No, I think it doesn't. During Vipassana is slightly different because all these sensations that I described to you, they're deeper, they're stronger, but that sensation of, I cannot remember. I know that during Vipassana I never had it. I don't know if at any point while I was meditating at home, if that ever happened. I know that it happened during EMDR. I know that it happened while smoking weed. um, but it's not clear to me. I would say no, because I would remember that, I think.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm. I think that's it. I mean, I'm really. It's like, I was saying in the beginning in the first interview, this is an experiment,
Mm-hmm.
and the points that I feel particularly interested in are these two. One of just in the difference of this allowing movement versus this not allowing. And for example, in Vipassana,